Episode 2 of my video game FLAPPATRON available right now on Steam. Here's a topic that I kind of don't want to talk about because I don't want to piss that community off or anything, but I also feel like I just want to talk about it because I just want to talk about it because I want people to hear my opinion on what I think of it, and I also want to spark a debate and hopefully get people who are parts of said community to maybe comment down below and kind of give their thoughts on it. Anyway, so furries. Off the bat, if you want to be a furry, you want to dress up as an animal, and if you believe you're an animal, I suppose, people who are like, you know, I identify as a wolf, I mean, you do you. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest. I don't really care. I will say this though, have you noticed how many people identify as wolves and foxes or a cat or something? It's always the cool animals. Like, why is nobody identifying as a tree frog? Or, I don't know, a fucking hippo? Do you know what I mean? It's always like the cool animals. I've always been a wolf. Well, what if you were like a fucking dung beetle? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I've noticed how it's always the cool animals, like the nice ones, like a fox or a dog or a wolf. Anyway, I just want to get that off my chest because I just find that really interesting. Anyway, so the other week, I had a weekend of watching strange documentaries because I just like to watch strange documentaries. So we watched one that I'd seen before actually, but my partner hadn't, and she's not really into the whole internet thing, doesn't really understand it, really. So for her, watching the Brony one, she was like, this is fucking weird, but like, okay, yeah, whatever. The gripe I have with Bronies is that you don't have to fucking shout out to the world that you're a Brony, like no one really cares. But at the same time, if you love something that bad, if you want to share it with the world, I guess do it. Also, like, that community as a whole, they seem like nice people. And they aren't being dickheads. And yeah, okay, they might do some cringy shit, I suppose. But whatever, man. They're not hurting anybody. They're just watching a show. And I don't really see the problem, to be honest. Yeah, okay, I'm watching it going, this is like so different to my life and what I think and this and this, but hey, if this is what they're comfortable with and what they want to do and they feel like they fit in here, more power to them. They're not doing anything wrong, so fuck it, I don't really care. So then after that one, we watched one called Sonas, which is about furries, and what's weird is with the Brony one is that you start watching it and you're like, oh my god, what is this? Like, everyone looks so strange and no wonder they're like, you know, this and this and this. Oh, I can't bother to go into it. But yeah, but by the end of it, it kind of changed my mind. I'm like, okay, actually, you know what? It's not a big deal. They're nice people, man. Fuck it, who cares? Whatever. The furry one, I started off as like more accepting, like this is kind of odd and people who identify and this and this and whatever, but hey, whatever, it's their life, they can do what they want. By the end of it, I was more like, no, this is fucking odd. And not necessarily to do with the whole animal thing. It's more just the people, in a sense. So, one thing I've noticed about the furry community, from what I've seen in that documentary, a lot of them are gay. It seems to be a very, like, gay thing. You know, like, they dress up in the animals and stuff. It just really seemed like a lot of it was gay men. Yeah, you've got your women as well, but it just seemed like very more leaning toward that side. The other thing was, it seems like, you know, like when you're a kid and you're in like a club or something, you got a clubhouse. I was like, can I join your club? Like, nah, you can't join my club. It's like for us, like an exclusive club. That's how it felt like to me. But less than a club, and more like a cult. Just because there's this weird guy, I forgot his name now. He's always drinking wine and getting drunk. But he was like this weird cult leader in a way, and telling these furries what they should and shouldn't do, and could and couldn't do, and just manipulating everybody. It was fucking weird. I guess because he runs like the convention and shit. And he's just giving advice like, don't say this, don't say that. Like, you represent all of us and all this shit. And I just think it's fucking weird. No, like, if someone so identifies with what, like, it's got nothing to do with you, mate, at all. I just think it's so weird. And the second thing I find really weird is they can't seem to acknowledge that a lot of it is a sexual thing. Now, again, I'm gonna get fucking comments saying it's not and it isn't, and if any furries watching are like, oh, it's not about that. Okay, maybe it's not for you personally, and maybe it isn't the most of it, but fucking hell. just from what I've seen. And I'm not a genius or anything, but I'm also not a moron. And even I can see that a lot of it is sexual. Because why would they go through all this fucking trouble to try and cover all this stuff up? You know, this pastor guy's trying to get people to say things and don't say things and don't basically get, scrutinize what's going on here because they don't want to admit that it's got some of it sexual and stuff. You know what I mean? There's even a part where someone asks them if they have sex in the costumes and the guy goes, no. And the woman's like, kinda have. And he's like, no, we haven't. Why the fuck are they so ashamed of it anyway? If the whole point of being a furry and being an animal and this and being true to yourself, then why the fuck would you even care? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're a furry and you want a fucking an animal costume, then fucking own it. Admit it. Who fucking cares, man? Sure, you're gonna be looked upon quite weirdly because, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending what side you're in society, that is weird in our society. Just because you're saying, oh, it's not weird and it should be accepted, well, just the way society is and how most people have been brought up, that is out the norm. Like, same shit like adult babies. That's why in FLAPPATRON I kind of had that thing of like, it is fucking weird. Like, it is weird to society because that's not normal. But you can't expect everybody else to just accept that. Do you know what I mean? I can't explain what I mean. If you got 90% of people who don't do something, only 10%, not even that, like 1%, or something really small who do it, you can't expect all of them to suddenly accept you for who you are. The world doesn't revolve around you. If you're gonna go out the norm and do something that isn't normal within the norm in society, not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, but you can't expect everybody to suddenly just cater to your needs and accept you for everything that you fucking are. Jesus Christ, if I wore like, I bought some cowboy boots when I was in America. I don't know why, I love cowboy boots and I wear them sometimes when I'm out in fucking about because I don't give a fuck and I'll wear whatever. But I get weird dirty looks. They was like, what the fuck, why is this guy wearing these fucking cowboy boots walking about? And I don't look at it as like, what the fuck, they should accept my... I look at it like, yeah, I know, I'm wearing fucking weird ass cowboy boots. It doesn't make any sense. I'm in England and it's cold and I'm probably like a fucking moron. But I accept that and I acknowledge it and I don't care. Whereas it seems the opposite for a lot of this. I know it's like the same level as this, but it kind of feels like you have to accept it and also not care. Why the fuck are you trying to control what everyone says and this and this and this? I just think it's so weird. And what's more weird is like you've got this like level of like exclusivity in a way. You got furries who like do this and do that and like top of the pack in a way. Like there's this guy called Boomer, which is funny because it's the only time you can reply to your friend and say, okay, Boomer. Now, in my opinion, if you've seen the documentary or if you're a furry, you know who this Boomer guy is. He's basically a guy who is very odd, but he actually thinks he's a dog or wants to be a dog, I suppose. I forget which one it is. Because there's a dog he used to watch as a kid called Boomer on this TV show. Now, he's clearly got a few issues, fair enough, but he seems pretty happy, he seems pretty whatever, and he seems like legit he wants to be a dog. And his costume is terrible, it's made out of like fucking paper and shit. However, out of everybody I watched on that documentary, he is the definition of a furry. He is the most furry-ish out of all of them lot, and they're the ones who are pissed off at him for talking about it and going on TV, and his costume is bad and all this shit. Who the fuck cares if the whole point of being a furry is that you're like, oh hey, it's just because it's a way of life and it's what I do, it's whatever. What does it fucking matter what costume he's got on? I don't know, man, I just found it really, really interesting, this documentary, because I started off with, fine, do what you want, guys, and by the end of it going, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, why are you shitting on this guy? Isn't the whole point of it just... I'm repeating myself now. I really recommend watching it. I think it was called Sonas. It's on Amazon Prime. And yeah, like, what the fuck? I just find it really strange. It is like a weird cult, and it's weird that they can't seem to admit that a lot of it is to do with, like, sexual things. Like, when that guy said, no, do you have a costume? And the guy went, no. The woman's like, well, we kind of have. Basically implying, we definitely do. Why can't he just say, yeah? Why does it fucking matter? It's not against the law. It's not that fucking bad. Who gives a shit? Like, if you want to dress up in a costume, go for it. People dress up in cosplays and have sex all the goddamn time. What does it matter? I don't know, I just feel like... Why does it matter? There's clearly some shady shit going on. There's clearly some weird stuff going on. Because why the hell would this pastor guy try and control everybody else and try and put these ideas into everybody else and just basically be this weird overlord for all these furries? But then they also kind of overlord from the it's like an overlord. It's like a hierarchy. There we go. It's like a hierarchy. And this boomer guy, who in my opinion, like I said, was the biggest furry out of all of them, is looked down upon because his costume is shit. Well, okay, but the whole essence of it is you got a fursona. He definitely embodied that the most out of everybody on that documentary. So I mean, you know, like there's two people who went on a TV show and they're on about like how, you know, they're furries on a TV show, and the guy, this pastor guy, shitting on them and calling them dickheads or something. I don't remember. And it's just like, I don't know. I just think it's very fucking weird because it isn't like these people are part of a company or part of some weird I don't know, it's just weird. It's really, really, really weird. And yeah, I just want people's opinion on it, and I recommend watching the documentary. I just want to talk about it. So leave a comment down below if you are a furry and all this stuff. Let me know. Actually, it'd be interesting if I could interview you, maybe. If anybody's watching this with a furry, I'd love to interview and just kind of get your feelings. And if you've been to a convention like that, maybe you can give me your opinions and thoughts. Yeah, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.